The night of the final ritual arrived, cloaked in a miasma of dread and anticipation. Arya, her body anointed and her mind drowning in the blood trance, was led by a procession of chanting cultists into the heart of the great mausoleum at the center of Grey Man's Hollow. This ancient place, with its soaring vaults and shadow-draped crypts, had long pulsed with power both eldritch and malevolent to those with eyes to see. It was here, the whisper said, that the veil between worlds grew thin, where the blood pits pressed close against the skin of reality, yearning to break through in a gout of carnage. And tonight, with the crimson moon hanging swollen and gibbous in the sky, that thinning would reach its apex. The crimson abyss would place its own chosen vessel, pour the essence of its dread lord into mortal flesh, to walk the earth and drown the world in a libation of blood, to slake a dark god's thirst. Arya, numb and detached, barely registered the journey through the labyrinthine crypts. Her blood-painted skin seemed to hum and throb to the tempo of the cultists' chant, an atonal droning that reverberated in her hollowed marrow, her curse-scarred soul. She was vaguely aware of Liam's presence at her side, his hand on her elbow, both guide and jailer. The procession wound ever downward into the Stygian depths, where the bones of centuries slumbered in their stone wombs. The air grew thick and stifling, reeking of must and moldering parchment and the copper tang of ancient blood. They passed through vaults where the cracked shelves slouched beneath the weight of grimoires bound in human skin, where shriveled relics pulsed with a phosphor glow in bell jars filmed with grave dust. And then, at last, they emerged into a cavernous chamber that Arya knew with a dull, dream-like horror would be the site of the ritual, of her dark apotheosis. The crypt was a shadowed, vaulted expanse, its crumbling walls carved with writhing bas-reliefs depicting scenes of slaughter and debasement, of figures, both human and horribly other, locked in a savage bacchanal of blood-drenched ecstasy. At the chamber's heart squatted a massive stone sarcophagus, its lid graven with a figure that made Arya's curse-addled mind recoil. It was a hulking anthropoid shape, but horribly elongated, with far too many limbs that jutted at twisted angles. A gaping, fang-filled maw split the figure's head like an axe wound, and where eyes should have been, only dark, weeping sockets stared out from the pitted stone. It was Korzun, ancient and implacable, the blood god of the Crimson Abyss. And tonight, Arya would take the eldritch essence of this horror into herself, become one with the devouring dark. The cultists formed a circle around the sarcophagus, their painted faces skull-like in the guttering light of their blood-hued candles. They swayed and droned, the air shivering with the eldritch resonance of their chant. And then, like a nightmare made flesh, the avatar emerged from the curdled shadows. Robed and cowled, with only the crimson gleam of its eyes hinting at the horror that pulsed beneath its dark vestments. In one gnarled hand, it clutched a blade of pitted black stone that seemed to devour the light, leaving only a wound-like afterimage pulsing in the gloom. "The hour is come," the avatar intoned, its voice a razor-edged whisper that sliced into Arya's mind, drew beads of icy sweat from her curse-branded flesh. "The crimson moon hangs gravid and sanguine, ready to birth a new era of blood and shadow. And the vessel, anointed and athirst, shall drink deep of the abyssal ichor and open the way for he who devours." The avatar's cowled head swiveled toward Arya, pinning her with the daemon bright gaze. "Step forward, chosen of Korzul. Bare your breast to the altar blade. Let the sanguine scion take root in your hallowed flesh." Arya, her will subsumed beneath the curse-spawned tide of blood rapture, found herself moving forward as if in a dream, her bare feet whispering against the clammy, lichen-crusted flagstones. The circle of chanters parted to let her pass, their voices rising in a shuddering crescendo. She reached the sarcophagus, the stone lip cold and rough beneath her palms as she braced herself against it. In the polished obsidian of the altar blade, she glimpsed her reflection. Skin pale as parchment, eyes pits of shadow, the mark of the maw livid and pulsing on her breast. Then the avatar loomed over her, the blade poised above her heart like the fang of some colossal viper. The chanting spiraled higher, an atonal shriek that flayed the air, and Arya found herself slipping away, the curse greedily dragging her down into a yawning abyss where crimson tides pounded against shoals of shattered souls. Arya felt the black kiss of the blade on her flesh. A cold so intense it burned. Felt her blood welling up to anoint the altar stone. The chant hammered the air. The Avatar's eyes blazed like the pits of hell. And Arya surrendered herself to the ravening dark. A voice, cutting through the sanguine din like a shaft of light piercing the Stygian gloom. A voice achingly familiar and echoing with a desperate, defiant humanity. "No," Liam cried. Arya, come back. This isn't you. This isn't us."